Thank you. Thank you. My article about the origin of instability and lack of security in the world, in Europe. The effect of Salafi fundamentalism of future European security is my title article. Security building depends on 5 basic indexes. Each parameter effect on power, security, and equivalence of international relations. These 5 basic indexes contain religions, cultism, social cohesion, crisis, and great power intervention. Each of these indexes has a basic role in future of European security. Middle East crisis has been escalated when the United States and England enforcement the fundamental groups in Syria and Iraq against Iran regional security. In this process, religious groups have been changed to fundamental groups who have terrorist orientation. Fundamental Salafi groups are not a religion, nor are it a cult. In its fullest form, it is a complete and a total system of life that used for struggle and resistance. Fundamental Salafi groups in Europe have religious, legal, political, economic, social, and military component. The Salafi religious component is a bird for all of the other components. Fundamental Salafi groups begin when there are sufficient Muslims in a country of agated for their religious privilege. When politically correct, tolerant, and culturally diverse societies agree to Salafi groups' demands for their religious privilege, some of other components tend to creep in as well. The following analysis of fundamental Salafi groups' influence on Salafi Muslim demographics around the world is explained the root of the religious crisis. Fundamental Salafi groups' effect on society and social action. They begin to proselytize from other ethnic minority and disaffected groups, often with major recruitment from the jails and among the street gangs. This group, they exercise an inordinate influence in proportion to their percentage of the population. For example, they will push for introduction of halal food, thereby securing food preparation jobs for Muslims, and Salafi produce this method of action. They will increase pressure on supermarket chains to feature halal on their shelves, along with threat for failure to themselves under Sharia. At this point, they will work to get the ruling government to allow them to rule themselves. The Sharia, the Salafi law is from the Sharia. The ultimate goal of fundamental Salafi groups to establish Sharia law over the entire world. Fundamental Salafi groups, they tend to increase loudness as a means of complaining about their conditions. These groups can expect hair trigger, rioting, and jihad military formation. In fundamental Salafi group, peace is never achieved, as in their thought, the most radical Salafi intimidate, they spew hatred and satisfy their blood lust by killing less radical Muslim and non-Muslim for a variety of reasons. Salafi group as like us, Lashkar Tayyibeh, like Daesh, ISIS, paid no penalty for its attack, nor did it Pakistan pattern. The group's senior leadership operate freely in some countries and enjoy the support and protection of Pakistan Army and Saudi Arabia financial support. Like Lashkar Tayyibeh, like Daesh, ISI, are more dangerous today than ever for Middle East and for Europe. The world needs to do much better countering the fundamental Salafi group and its leadership. Politicians and some experts have followed the same pattern, overreacting to the most recent event and losing sight of the reality that there are not going to be any turning point in the near future. Near of the tragedy like Paris are almost inevitable, and the struggle against extremists is going to be a long battle of attrition. It is critical to keep fundamental Salafi groups like Daesh in perspective. This group that derive is only one of the worst sources of terrorism and insurgency, but non-state actors. In this situation, non-state actors have an important role in security. Like ISIS is only the one match movement. There are similar extremist groups in many countries with a large Islamic population. They include Al-Qaeda, central in Pakistan, the Al-Nusra Front in Syria, and Al-Qaeda in Arabia Peninsula, in Saudi Arabia and Yemen, just to name a few. Many have gone far beyond fundamental Salafi group in the classic sense and have become insurgent movements seeking to take control of the state by force. Daesh, for example, is both the most successful and most dangerous because it has become an actual proto-state in parts of both Iraq and Syria. In fact, the very term fundamental groups and extremists is misleading when it comes to the broader patterns of violence involved. Violence between sects of Islam like the Sunni and Shia is a reality and is all too typical of the kind of religious warfare and characterized European during the time of Christian Reformation and Counter-Reformation. State actors are also only part of the threat. The civil war in Syria is primarily a struggle between the government and fundamental Salafi group like Daesh and Jabhat al-Nusra. It is not a struggle only between a repressive authoritarian regime and the range from relative modern group of affiliate of Al-Qaeda. The Syrian civil war is all too typical between the state, repression, and fundamental Salafi group that support from interventionist group, some of which is all too inevitable and does all too good a job legitimizing fundamental Salafi group as extremists given the crisis in region's security. The war in Yemen is another example of violence that has interventionist actors have basic law. It is a war where Sunni and Shia are now at war. Saudi Arabia and Iran support the groups in Yemen. This fighting has given Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula time to recover from counter-terrorist pressure and take new area in Yemen. Similarly, state corruption and political paralysis have helped sustain the Taliban in Afghanistan. A state effort to manipulate extremists have become a major threat to Pakistan government that started them in an effort to pressure its neighbors. In this situation, countries like European states and countries as Iran are the victim of some clash of fundamental Salafi groups. It must be compared to violence with Islam and has killed hundreds of thousands of Muslims in recent years, halted economic life and development in several countries, and produced millions of displaced persons and refugees. The struggle to change this reality will be a long struggle, and there will be many tragedies like Syria to come. Real victory can only be won by years of reform within the fundamental Salafi groups in the world. Thank you.